Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm excited to talk about all the upcoming releases that I'm looking forward to for the rest of this year in 2023. So there's quite a bit of books that I'm looking forward to, but I've decided to just talk about 10 of them. And also some of these books have already come out in August, but I'm going to be talking about them since they were just recently released. Now, the first book that I want to talk about is Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. So, the two books that I've read by Elizabeth Acevedo were books told in verse. However, I believe Family Lore is going to be her first adult novel, as the previous two novels were young adult. And this book follows a Dominican American family as one of their matriarchs has this gift to predict the future of when someone will die. And because of this, she anticipates her own death and has a living wake for herself. Now, having this wake kind of throws her whole family off, and the rest of the women in her family have to contemplate their own lives, their own secrets, and decisions that they need to make in the face of something as final as death. Now, I am looking forward to reading this because it is an own voices story talking about Dominican American women and their struggles. And I'm hoping I'll enjoy this book as much as I've enjoyed the other books by Elizabeth Acevedo. Now, this book is coming out I should have probably mentioned that at first. It actually already came out. So it was published on August 1st, 2023. So it's already out, and if it's something you're interested in, you should go pick it up. Now, the next book I'm going to be talking about is California Golden by Melanie Benjamin. So, California Golden by Melanie Benjamin follows the tale of two sisters who are the daughters of a legendary swimmer back in the 1960s, and it basically discusses what these two girls go through with a mother who is always in the limelight and spends a lot of time away from them, and eventually how it has affected them throughout their life. Now, the reason I got excited when heard about this book is it really gave me Malibu Rising vibes by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I love the discussions about family and how your upbringing can really affect your life. I find that very fascinating. And of course, I love following books written by women for women about women. And so I'm hoping this one will be very interesting and very insightful. Now, it already came out on August 8th, so if that sounds interesting to you, go pick it up. Now, the third book I want to talk about is Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. Now, I've read a couple of Alice Feeney's books. The last one I read was Rock Paper Scissors, and I enjoyed that fairly well. So when I saw another Alice Feeney book coming out, I decided I should put it on my list. So Good Bad Girl is coming out on August 29th, so not too long from now. And it is an adult mystery thriller. So this book follows two women in a nursing home. One is an 80-year-old woman where other woman works there, and together they're trying to solve a 20-year-old mystery of when a baby disappeared, and together they're trying to solve this disappearance of this baby and a murder that just happened in the care home. So there's a lot of secrets and twists and turns as typical with Alice Feeney books. So I also read Daisy Darker by her, and I kind of enjoyed that book. So I'm hoping that this book will hit even harder than those last two books that I read, and I'm willing to give it a shot. Now, the next book that I'm looking forward to this year is Happiness Falls by Kim Angie. Now, this book is also coming out on August 29, and it is also an adult mystery thriller. So, this book is a little bit similar to the last, where it centers around a disappearance, but instead of a baby, the father of a Korean American family goes missing, and his disappearance brings up a lot of secrets that this family has been holding together. Now, I guess, as with a lot of mysteries, the secrets tend to unravel as this disappearance is getting looked into and getting investigated. Now, I haven't read that many books similar to this because it not only is a mystery, it's also kind of a character study and a drama at the same time. And hopefully, those all blend really well together. So, August 29 it is. Now, the next book I'm looking forward to is Playing the Witch Card by KJ Del Antonia. Now, this book is coming out on September 12th, 2023. Sorry if I keep looking over here. I'm looking at my laptop to reference these books. So, Playing the Witch Card is an adult fantasy romance, as you can probably tell by the title. So, this book is described as being a combination of Gilmore Girls meets practical magic, which sounds really interesting to me. So this follows Flor, who experienced heartbreak as a young witch, and due to that, she gives up on magic and moves away from her hometown. But when something happens to, I believe, her mother, she has to return to her hometown. She has to return to using magic in order to save her family and, I guess, save her town. Now, I don't this sounds like a book that doesn't really take itself too seriously, and um hopefully will be both heartwarming, funny, and kind of a mystery. Now, the next book that I'm looking forward to is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. Now, if you're a fantasy reader, especially a cozy fantasy reader, you probably heard about Legends and Lattes, which came out, when did it, like, maybe last year? I really loved it. The combination of fantasy with a very homey, cozy, light-hearted storyline was really, it's like drinking a warm cup of tea while it's raining and there's a candle and all, that vibe, that ambiance. So the second I heard that there was going to be a sequel, I knew I have to read this. Bookshops and Bone Dust is coming out on November 7, 2023. Oh, so actually, Bookshops and Bone Dust isn't a sequel. It's actually a prequel to our main character from Legends and Lattes. So it follows Viv's career when she's a young, battle hungry orc. So when Viv is young and just starting to get into her chosen career path, she gets injured as a mercenary. And in order to recuperate, she has to work in a bookshop. Now, I don't really want to read too much more into that. That already sounds great to me. I mean, I love cafes from the first book, and I definitely love bookshops. And I really enjoyed the characters from the first book. So I'm really looking forward to following Viv all over again and seeing her in a more bookish setting. Now, the next book that I'm looking forward to is Murtagh by Christopher Paolini. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I hope that is. Now, this is a prequel to the Aragon series, or maybe even a spin-off that follows Murtagh, one of the characters from the Inheritance cycle. Now, this book is also coming out on November 7, and it is a young adult fantasy novel. This book actually happens a year after the events of the Inheritance cycle, and instead of following Aragon, we're going to be following Murtagh and his dragon as they confront a perilous new enemy. Now, that's all I need to know. I also don't want to say more about the synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything. Hopefully, even just that short description didn't spoil anything for those of you that haven't read Aragon yet. Now, it's been a while since I read Aragon, so I'm hoping that before this book comes out, I can reread the Inheritance Cycle and kind of refresh my memory on everything that went on. I really loved that series as a kid. Is a very classically inspired fantasy novel that was written for young adults, so wasn't too complicated for me to read back then, and hopefully will still be enjoyable for me now. I remember enjoying the characters and the world, and it kind of introduced me to high fantasy. So definitely going to be picking this one up and reading it. The next book that I'm looking forward to reading is Keep Your Friends Close by Lucinda Berry. Now, I've read quite a few books by Lucinda Berry, and two of them I really enjoyed, which would be Saving Noah and The Perfect Child. And I'm really hoping that this book will be up there with those two as some of my favorite books of all time. Now, this book is coming out also on November 7th of this year, and it is an adult mystery thriller or thriller mystery. So, this book is basically a whodunit. So, a woman who is the president of the West Hollywood's Moms Club turns up dead in her own pool, and her three friends and the witnesses of her pool party are suspects in her murder. And just like with any murder mystery, secrets start to unravel as an investigation ensues trying to find the murderer. This sounds very basic to me at first, like when I first hear it, but I really trust Lucinda Berry and her writing, and I'm hoping that she will take this trope and spin a very original story out of it. So the next book I'm looking forward to is Systems Collapse by Martha Wells, the author of the Murderbot Diaries. Now this book is coming out on November 14th and it is an adult sci-fi. So for those of you that don't know what Murderbot is about, it follows this robot who hacked its own protocols and now basically has is basically free thinking and has emotions and is trying to do its job but also trying to find out the meaning of life as a robot. So it's basically this robot that now has feelings and is trying to live life as a human. Systems Collapse is actually the seventh book in the Murderbot Diaries, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to follow Murderbot's adventures. And I can't really talk too much about this book without spoiling the first few books. So if you're interested in this series, you should really read it. I definitely recommend it if you're into sci-fi. Now, did I mention that Systems Collapse is coming out on November 14th? If I hadn't, it's coming out on November 14th. Now, the next book I'm looking forward to is Defiant by Brandon Sanderson, which comes out on November 21, 2023. And this is book 4 in the Skyward series, which is a sci-fi young adult series written by Brandon Sanderson. I can't really, as the fourth book, I can't really get into what this book is about, but is basically the final book in the Skyward series and follows our main character Spencer as she tries to save the people and the world that she knows and loves. Now, if you have never heard of Skyward, so Spencer is the daughter of an infamous pilot who betrayed his flight. Now, Spencer dreams of getting into flight school and becoming a pilot herself so that she can become a great pilot and ultimately kind of redeem her family name. Now, in doing this, lots of things happen. And if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, I definitely highly recommend this series. Now, I said I was only going to do 10, but it looks like this was actually 12. If you don't count the two books that have already come out, then it's actually 10. But the last book that I'm looking forward to is Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman, which is coming out on December 7, 2023. Now, Heartstopper follows these two teenage boys who fall in love, and it follows their first love romance and all the struggles that they deal with being two gay boys who are dating. I really enjoyed the first two books. The third book was okay, and the fourth one I also really enjoyed, and it goes beyond what typical teenagers deal with. It talks about what they deal with, but it goes even beyond that as the issues that two boys must deal with, dealing with family, dealing with friends, dealing with their own emotions and their own mental health issues, as well as their friendships and of course love. So I'm really into these graphic novels. I actually have the four of them back here, and I'm really excited for the fifth one to come out. Now, with that said, guys, those are the 12 books that I am looking forward to reading as they come out this year in 2023. Let me know if you're looking forward to any of these books, which ones are your top ones, and if there's any books that you are looking forward to coming out. Let me know in the comments down below. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.